Hello, everyone, and welcome. So, you probably didn't expect to see me post on this channel, mainly because I think the last time I actually posted on this channel was like years ago. But you know what? I have some things that I want to discuss that would not fit what you might have seen me otherwise in, which is Devastatus. So, with shout out to all the people here who are subscribed to me for some reason. Um, Go look at Devastatus. That's what I've been working on for like the past 5 months. Me and my partner Scott. Not partner in like that sense, but like business partner. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not what it's not what I'm about, I guess. Which I do think is really funny because on the thing, like on the side here, there was an ad that popped up like literally minutes ago. I wish I was recording at the time. That was a "Am I gay?" test, which I thought was really funny, especially given the context of what I just said here. But I'm getting way off track because the reason I'm here today is I want to do a tier list of World of Warcraft races. I want to do a bunch of different tier lists and stuff like that, and it wouldn't fit into Devastatus because we already do a bunch of tier lists as is, and we've already done a World of Warcraft thing in Devastatus. And for people that don't know, Devastatus is you do one thing and you try not to repeat it. Now, I know I just kind of contradicted that by saying we do a bunch of tier lists, but it's different. Promise you, it's different. Anyways, we're going to get into this now. So, I'll be right back. Okay, and there we are. Sorry, I had to... Hold on. This doesn't feel quite right anyway, so I'm just going to do this on the fly. There we go. That looks better. So, I've set up the different categories here. At the top, we have the goats. Then we have these guys are cool. Then we have not my cup of tea, but also not bad. It's kind of middle of the line there. And then you have the, how do I say this politely, which is, it's not great. And then finally we get to, there is no nice way to say it, right? So I'm going to get right into it. I'm so glad that we are starting with, in my opinion, one of the goats, the Blood Elves. I love the Blood Elves. I love their lore. I love the aesthetics. I love the arrogance that they have, or at least used to have. I don't know. It seems like it has kind of faded over time, but it seems like a lot of the identity of different things of World of Warcraft has faded. But I do love the Blood Elves. Like, these are my guys. The Sindarai. Oh, I love them so much. So obviously I'm going to put them in the goats. When I started my first character as a Blood Elf, back when I started playing the game back at Mista Pandaria, I know, what a time to join the World of Warcraft community. But yes, that was my first character. It's been a majority of my characters, actually. I still have that first character, or I guess kinda. I had to remake them because my account got hacked, and then I had to make a new WoW 2 account, and it was a whole thing. But they're still named the same, and they're the character I've played as since, like, for over a decade now, which is crazy to say. So yes, Blood Elf are my goats. Now, the Iron Forged Dwarves, it took me a second to remember the name. I don't know, I think I don't think they're as goated as the normal dwarves, but I think that they're kind of cool, right? So I'm gonna say not quite my cup of tea, but not bad. Which, by the way, I know we just went from me talking a bunch about the Blood Elves to barely anything about the Dark Iron Dwarves. Look, you're just gonna have to get used to it. Some of these people I have less to say about than others, but I am going to try to talk about a decent bit about each of them. The Dracovir. So. There's something to say about the Dracovir, right? I still don't understand their lore because I still haven't played Dragonflight yet. I just finished Midnight, and I'm gonna go back and play Dragonflight as well. I think they look really weird. I feel like they just look kind of strange. I was kind of bummed out to learn that they're not, like, basically descendants of the main dragons, like the, like, 5 dragon aspect people. I was kind of hoping that was the case, because, like, oh, that'd be sick lore for them. But I guess they're kind of projects of Deathwing or whatever. which that lore could be interesting as well. I don't know. I'll get more into it when we get there. I don't like the models for these guys, and I don't know if you could maybe stay in the human form the whole time, because that might make it a little better, but I don't like the dragon form, and that's what's very much here. So it's like, I'm not really super into that. Unfortunately, I think these are going to be a how do I say this politely race, because it's like, I don't know if I really like that. Not a big fan. And you know, if you're a big fan of them, hey, that's awesome. I'm so glad that you enjoy them and that you get to be this dragon person. Conceptually, I like the idea. I don't care how they look. I just feel like it's kind of strange. The Draenei. So, lore-wise, I know these guys have very rich lore. I think that's cool. Not a huge fan, personally. And it's mostly aesthetics more than anything else. I also think it's weird that, like, they're more or less space people, it seems like. But I guess almost everybody's a space race, which is what we kind of talked about, my friends and I a while back. Not a while back, like a few weeks ago. Like, as these are space people, and then you have the space things that infected the stone beings that were dwarves, and that became dwarves. And then you also have the orcs who are technically aliens. Everybody's aliens and nobody's aliens. It doesn't really matter. My point is, not my cup of tea, but not bad. You know? I respect it. Now, the dwarves, these guys are cool. So, I don't know much about the lore of the dwarves in World of Warcraft specifically. But they're dwarves, and I've seen Ironforge. Ironforge fucking rules. They're dwarves. I mean, we all know the idea of what dwarves are in fantasy, and they're badasses. What more can I say? Those guys are cool. The undead. The undead are the goats. So, something that might be shown here as we go further on, is the fact that I very much have a Horde bias. I was raised on the Horde. Almost all of my characters have been Horde. In retail, I only really have Horde characters. I have recently been playing Alliance on Classic Hardcore with my friends, but, you know, I just, there's something about the Horde that still speaks to me, and I wish I was still on the Horde even now. I have been playing retail again, though, and I have been on the Horde again. I don't know. I'm a Horde for life, and I blame my friends for starting me down that path. The gnomes. There's no nice way to say it. I hate the gnomes. I hate them so much. I hate the fact that they're a little smiling like, oh, jeez, oh, yeah, wow. I hate them so much. And if you're a gnome player, man, power to you again. Same with the Dracovir. I'm not a fan. I don't think I ever will be, and that's just kind of the way it is. The goblins. Now these guys are cool. I love how just like little scumbags they've been painted to be. Like they're all about greed and collecting money and all that. They're just little, little like, oh yeah, we're gonna go collect all this money. Oh, we're gonna go sell. Like, they're such little characters and little guys, like little bastards, and I love them. I love that aspect of them. I just think it's so funny. I love them. So the Tauren. I'm gonna say not my cup of tea, but not bad. Truthfully, I just don't really know much about them past the point that they're more just kind of more, I think they're based more around Native American culture and stuff like that. So I think it's interesting, and I think that their tribal way of life is kind of cool. I think that the people that play them are probably pretty cool. I don't really have a lot to say with them at the end of the day. And that's kind of why they're not my cup of tea, but not bad. Humans. So, it's weird, right? Because the humans, because of the old lore, have some of the coolest characters. But do I respect somebody who has all these fantasy races in front of them and goes, you know what I'm going to be? A human. Not really. No, I don't respect that. I don't respect that at all, actually. It's hard because, again, you got some of the coolest characters were humans. You got Uther, Jaina, Arthas. You have, I gotta say, Varian Rin. He was a cool guy. You got so many humans. Medivh, Khadgar. So many cool guys that were humans. Or are humans. But I think because of the fact that I'm doing this as like a playable race kind of thing, because I haven't really brought up NPCs in any of the other ones, I'm gonna have... how do I say this politely? Because, truthfully, they're just humans. They're just humans. You have all these fantasy races, and you chose to just be the one thing that you are in real life. I don't know. I don't respect it. But they're not as bad as the gnomes. And you know what? I think that's fair. Voltyrans. I'm going to actually put them a step above normal humans because of the fact that I got told they're essentially the, like, seafaring humans for the most part. And that makes them just a little bit more interesting than just human. So they're going to just be a little bit better. So not my cup of tea, but not bad. I do think that the models are probably better with base humans. But again, they're just humans. There's nothing interesting about just choosing to be a human. I don't know. The Lightforged Draenei. No nice way to say it. Why did you just make the Draenei again? I really don't understand what the point of making the Lightforged Draenei were. Because it's not like you're giving them to the Horde. So, because I think, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Dark Iron Dwarves you can play on the Horde. Or maybe not. Maybe they're Alliance as well. I truthfully don't know. I've never actually played as a Dark Iron Dwarf. You know what? Let's look it up. Well, let's not speculate here. Let's get to the Alliance or Horde. Here we go. Ooh. I gotta say, that doesn't help, actually. But they are still dwarves. I think they're fine where they're at. I don't like the fact... I don't like it when a race is basically like... What are you really bringing to the table here? With the Lightforged Draenei, I see pretty much nothing being brought to the table except for, oh, these ones are specifically the light-filled ones. And it's like, okay, well, any race can be filled with the light, so what's special about this? I don't know. I don't like them. There's no nice way to say about those ones. Now, I know I just said I don't like it when a race doesn't bring anything new to the table. I am going to put the... What's the name of these guys? If I hover over it, it'll tell me the name. Doesn't have the icon name. I'm sorry. I really should have came more prepared to this. Word allied races. Orc. The Maghar orcs. I like the fact that they are the uncorrupted versions of the orcs. And I know they're still just orcs at the end of the day. They're just a different color orc. I get it. But lore-wise, that is so cool. You know what? I'll drop them down a little bit. Because the other orcs are going to be above them. I'm just letting you know that ahead of time. I know it's a spoiler. I'm so sorry. I'm going to put these guys on there so cool because I'm going to stick to my rule of just adding the same race and doing nothing different with it is kind of boring. And I always stick to that rule. Instead of giving us a different race or something like that. But they are still really cool because they are the uncorrupted orcs of Draenor that were not given the demon blood and everything like that. Lore-wise, that's super fucking cool. I like that. I like that a lot. So they're gonna be in these guys are cool. Mecha gnomes. Honestly, if they're, you know what? Let's do this actually. We're gonna add one below. And then we're gonna change this. Let's do this. Say mecha gnomes. Why did they make the mecha gnomes? Do we know why they made the mecha gnomes? I don't. I don't know why they made the mecha gnomes. And quite frankly, I hate that they did. I hate that they were like, you know what race really we should make a second one of? Gnomes. Oh god. No, yeah, honestly, that feels right having them in their own category at the very bottom. The Nightborn. So, the Nightborn, fun fact, is the only race that I really put in the work to unlock. Because I was like, oh, they're like the Night Elves, but the Horde version? That's sick. I want to have that unlocked. And I spent so much time during the Legion expansion to get myself to Exalted with their, like, faction. Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. The Nightfallen. Just so that I could unlock them. And I unlocked them, and then I made a character that I never played. But I thought they were so cool. So I'm gonna put them in. These guys are so cool. Because they are just so cool, man. I like the idea that they, I mean, to be fair, they tread a lot of ground with the Blood Elves. So in a way, I think that maybe it's just my love of Blood Elves that's kind of bleeding through with them. Because they're like the Blood Elves. They're like the fusion of the Blood Elves and the Night Elves. Which is funny because the Blood Elves were just the Night Elves that decided, oh, we're going to keep doing magic. And they moved away, got the Sunwell instead of the Moonwell or whatever. And yeah, like, that I love the Nightborn. I think they are cool. I have actually recently made a new character that is a Nightborn that I want to actually level up to make it so that the effort I put in is not just wasted. I thought it was cool. I think, I could be wrong, but I think the requirements to unlock the allied races have became easier over time. I don't know. I need to actually look that up. But from what I was like looking at when I was making a new character recently, it looked like it was easier to unlock some of the newer races, which kind of made sense in a way because I was like, you know, that was a real slog to do. And then by the time I actually got that character unlocked, I was like, well, I'm kind of done playing for a while because it took forever to get this thing unlocked. So, I don't know. And I also don't like the fact that that means that all the work I put in, if it's true that it is easier, that means that all the work I put in is kind of for naught because now it's like way easier to do it. So I have very mixed feelings about that. But I do think these guys are cool. The Night Elves. So I think that they were cool because of the fact that they are the elves on the Alliance. I was like, if I'm going to be on the Alliance, I want to be a Night Elf because I want to be an elf because I like the Blood Elves. The elves are kind of my thing in the World of Warcraft universe. I'm not a super nature guy, though, and I've learned over time, because I've gotten into the lore, these guys are super nature-based. And I'm like, okay, well, now I'm torn because I'm not a nature guy, but these guys are also cool designs. They are cool. At the very least, I will say they are cool. But part of me, for the sake of fairness, because I'm looking at what we have left here, is saying maybe these guys should be the GOATs as well. I think that if you're going to play on the Alliance, this is the coolest race to play as on the Alliance. And I'm acknowledging my Horde bias because I'm looking at the top. I'm looking at what I've done here, actually. We have so many, like, Horde races at the top, and we have so many Alliance races at the bottom. And that's not fully intentional, but it is kind of that way. So I think to try to even things out a bit, let's put the Night Elves on the top. And I will say, in my classic hardcore, where I'm playing on the Alliance, I am currently playing as a Night Elf. Because They are the coolest race that you could play as on the Alliance, especially in Classic. So, yes, they are going to be at the top. The Orcs. The Orcs are the goats. They are the goats. Such rich lore. I love the characters that we have in the Orcs. I love Thrall. I am one of the people that think that Garrosh Hellscream was one of the coolest characters in WoW. I love Sourfang. I love the Horde, man. What can I say? The Orcs have to be one of the goats. They're just so cool. I love the sense of honor among them. I love the, like, warrior culture. It's so cool. I love the Orcs. They are the goats. The Pandaren. I don't actually hate the Pandaren, believe it or not. I know so many people are like, oh, the pandas are so dumb and stuff like that. And I get it. I get it. It's really funny to rip on the Pandarens. I like the Eastern mysticism things. I think it's fun. I'm gonna say not quite my cup of tea. I don't think I'd ever make a Pandaren, but I also don't think they're bad. they are middle of the pack. And this is gonna be the point where everyone points out, so you like the pandas better than the humans, huh? I don't respect the fact that if you have all these races available, you choose to play humans. And I get it. The humans have the coolest, like, characters in the lore. I just can't. I'm sorry. I just can't. The Pandarens are gonna have to be above them, and that's just the way it unfortunately has to be. I just realized that these aren't the normal Tauren, because these are the normal Tauren. These are the High Mountain Tauren. Okay. They're gonna go a little bit lower, because I'm sticking to what I've said. Allied racers that change nothing up and just give you another version of play of the, like, other race. That's not cool. And Gold Tyrion's actually the only one that gets to break that rule and be above. Normal Tauren are going to be not my cup of tea, but not bad. The Trolls. The Trolls are cool. I like them. I like the troll culture. I like the fact that a lot of them speak with Jamaican accents. I think it's fun. I like it, and maybe it's problematic. I'm not one to say, but I think they're fun. I think they're cool, and I'm going to put them in these guys are cool. The Void Elves. So here's the thing about the Void Elves, right? I think that they really wanted to have the Blood Elves on the Alliance. So they made up the idea of Void Elves. And I don't really care about the Void Elves, truthfully. And I know that's crazy because I'm the guy that loves the Blood Elves. And the Void Elves came from the Blood Elves. Just don't really care about the Void Elves at all. Like, maybe it's just because I don't understand their lore fully. I don't know. As someone who's been catching up on the lore entirely lately, with going through the recaps of the War Within and all the stuff leading up to Midnight. I mean, I missed Dragonflight. I guess it really was just the War Within, huh? Unless I'm missing another one in between there. I don't know. But the War Within recap just made it seem like everything has been super Void focused lately. And I don't know, maybe I'm just not super into the idea of the Void. There's not a lot to say about the Void Elves. And I know that's crazy because I've been talking about them for the past couple of minutes. I don't know, I'm gonna say not my cup of tea, but not bad. Because here's the thing, right? Let's say if I were to play retail WoW on the Alliance today, would I play as the Void Elves? Maybe, because I love the Blood Elves. But also maybe not, because I don't know. There's something about the Void Elves that I don't care for. And like when I've heard the rumors or ideas about Classic Plus, And the idea of potentially adding new races into that as well. Would I want to see the Void Elves show up there so that I could play basically the Blood Elves on the Alliance? Not really. Not really. And I think that is because I just don't care for them. I don't know. I think it's a messy concept, and I don't like him. I don't like him. I'm kind of feeling like I should drop him even lower now. But they are better than humans. Are they though? No. I'm honestly starting to think maybe I've been a bit too harsh on humans. Looking at where everything has landed so far. No, I think this is fine. Maybe if we... You know what? Let's flip it around. Yeah. So here's my reasoning for flipping that around, right? The Colterans, that's, again, they have the seafaring culture, which is a cool aspect of them. But how many cool Colteran characters can you think of that were, you know, super ingrained in the lore? Probably not many. However, there's tons of normal humans, like all the ones I mentioned earlier, that were part of it. And you know what? That feels fair. Okay. So, Fox people, Volpira. I don't really care about them. I have no idea what their lore is. So maybe I'm missing out. But as far as I can tell, they're just like, how can we add another animal creature race that people can be, like another furry bait kind of race? And that's what the Volpira were. And you know what? That's your cup of tea. By all means, you know, play them, enjoy them, do what you love. I'm not here to judge you. I'm just doing this from a personal standpoint. I don't care for them. The Worgen. Here's the thing, right? I know I just said furry bait, that's low, right? The Worgen's kind of furry bait done right. And that's all I'm gonna say that. I think, actually, these guys are cool. Because here's the thing, right? They're werewolves, as far as I'm aware. They are humans that got turned into werewolves. And you know what? If you're gonna be edgy, go for the edge. I feel like that's what they are. That's kind of cool. I'm all about it. So you know what? That's really all I have to say about it. But these guys are cool. So I'm gonna assume these are the Zandalari trolls, and not the newest ones introduced in Midnight. Here's the thing about the Zandalari trolls, though. I actually feel like it's actually a step down. I mean, I did like them in Battle for Azeroth. I thought it was one of the one of the cooler things from the expansion. I was like, oh, well, these guys, their culture seems cool. I like their aesthetics and everything. But they're not. They all have to stick to the rule that it is slightly worse. And I like them better than I like these guys. So you know what? There it is. This is it. This is the whole casting here. My rankings. What do you think? Do you think that I'm dead wrong? That I should be put on a cross like the degenerate I am? That's a Fallout reference, by the way, because I'm a big Fallout fan, which never really came up on this channel. Maybe it will. Maybe it will later. But yeah, what do you think? I think that this is the perfect cast. And you know what? At the end of the day, in my opinion, is the only one that really matters.